My father was an engineer and he worked for Westinghouse, and they said, you want to go to India, because they were thinking about working on a big hydro dam. We all got on a plane and we flew to India. We arrived in Bombay, and when we arrived there was a polio epidemic, and we were there 1 week, and my mother contracted polio. Then we moved up to Simla, which was a hill station 9,000 feet up in the Himalaya mountains up in northern India in the Punjab. The doctors up there sort of first diagnosed her with altitude sickness, then with typhoid, and then finally they said, okay, it's polio. At one point was totally paralyzed. She could just move her head, and we didn't have a clue. We would go in and hug her and put blankets on her, and none of us got it. She was the only one. And after that, she went through the therapy end of things. She was in a wheelchair. She couldn't walk at all for a year, then braces for about 3 years, and then a cane for most of her life. Later in life, getting post-polio syndrome, which basically is getting it again. We kids, my two sisters and I, were raised with a disabled mom. I spent about 15 years in India, and I saw the extremes of, super wealthy people and extreme, unbelievable poverty with disabilities and handicaps that would hardly see anywhere else on the planet. Like that really influenced what I do now to help to bring a little bit of happiness and make people's lives a little better by either getting them wheelchairs, which will allow them to be mobile often for the first time in their lives, and which will relieve some of the burden on the family members who have to care for them. But India and my mother's experience primarily had an awful lot to do with what I attempt to do now. I went back up to the area where I've worked for like 15 plus years, up in northern Thailand, and I went to a clinic there, and I said, do you need wheelchairs? They said, yeah, and I said, well, how many? And they said, oh, we need, a lot. So I contacted Kanchana, the head director at Burma Children's Medical Fund, and she said, sure, this is great, because they basically are all along that border area, central west Thailand and eastern Burma, and they haven't done anything up north where we are. We came up with some 60 plus wheelchairs and walkers and cane, and she brought her whole team up, and we spent a week up there, and we went to 8 different villages where people would come from other villages with their disabled family members, and we got rid of a lot of these rough country wheelchairs and walkers and canes. Most heartbreaking thing to me was seeing kids who were mentally normal, but their hands were twisted, their feet were clubbed because of lack of medical care. And this happens all over in remote areas of Thailand and Burma. But then I had this idea, every summer I do a little adventure, and I was planning on a little bike ride. I've got a recumbent trike. It's got one drive wheel in the back and 2 in the front, and you pedal. It's like, you know, I need to steer like this. After I left Thailand last year, I came back in March early. Threw this thing on the back of my pickup truck in Wisconsin and drove to an ex-student's house on Cannon Beach, Oregon, and it was rain and sleet, and I took off. I didn't really have a clue where what I was doing, but I figured, okay, my objective every day was to get out of a parking lot, or that was it, you know, and if I got that far, then that's good, and if I got a little further, okay. So I rode and rode, and during this time, well, I went 4,500 kilometers. Every once in a while I put up a post of my mother and pictures of the kids at Burma Children Medical Fund. I don't have a single regret of lost time or anything with my mother. And I wanted to give her a little bit of happiness, even though, I mean, she had a good life, but at the end of the life, she was alone and crippled and scared. And I wanted to, if I could, take some of that away or lessen that impact on her. So I was with her right up until she was bedridden and on her way out, and I had to leave, and she died shortly after. It's hard. But, you know, she's still there, here. It's helped me in my life and really enhanced the quality of my existence here.